Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Nashville. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall, and we are in the last round of Swiss here in Nashville. Two teams, one at 10-2-1, one at 10-1-2.
Yeah, I just watched Sharfman's team take an unintentional draw against Tom Martell's team in the last round. There you see, wow, what a great curve here from Pat Cox, who's playing against Tannon Grace. Herald of Anafenza into Mardu Skull Hunter on turn two.
The beatdowns.
And was that a Bloodfire expert?
Yeah, an expert hits the bin here.
So Teamer versus Abzan or Warriors.
Or Warriors, right. And there is a Highland game, which is going to stem the bleeding a little bit here for Tannon, who looks like he may have taken a mulligan or two here this game. I think he's only got 3 cards left in his hand. Yeah, so it looks like he's maybe taken a mull.
Skull Hunter attacks.
Yeah, Skull Hunter's going to trade off. Is this going to be a Horde Chief? Yes, it is. Wow, nice follow-up play here for Cox, who hasn't even bothered with the Herald of Anafenza yet. He will start using that when he runs out of more potent plays to make with his mana.
There's like
Tannon's
2
at
cards
22.
left.
Yeah, so he must have mulliganed to 5 here. Is that what you're seeing, BDM?
Yeah, that's certainly what it's looking like to me.
Yeah.
Well, you just trade the Horde Chief in for that. Yeah, you're like if you're gonna take my trade, okay, you're not gonna take the trade, sure.
Tannon Grace does not take him off on that trade. And what's the follow-up play here for Pat Cox? A timely Horde mate to get that last card, or one of the last cards out of his hand.
He had 2 cards left. Gets mastered away. That card was already dead.
It wasn't going to happen anyway. And Pat Cox has put himself in a position to absolutely run over Tannon Grace here in this first game of their match.
In a non-death frenzy, non-end hostilities clan here.
Wow. An Enoch tracker for Grace.
Yeah.
It's going to be played as a face-down morph, and he's going to play as Mountain here, and
yeah, you get that
he's out of gas.
Get that land in play.
No kidding.
Wow.
Mardu Skull Hunter just
that
going
was
to
the
work.
radius turn.
It was super raidy. Double raid triggers?
Yeah, double raid triggers are the best. Just everyone gets in, well, other than the Herald.
He's triggered raid 5 times. Like, I don't mean like attacked 5 times. I mean like he's gotten 5 raid triggers this game. All for value.
Timely Horde mate trades with the Alpine Grizzly.
And a Wingmate Rock too from Pat Cox. What in the world is Tannon Grace supposed to do? He's now top decking, and he finds a land so he can at least turn up that tracker.
He's like, I really would love to activate my Herald of Anafenza, but I have all these great cards.
By the way, 6 raid triggers. Yeah, he's played it 1-2 for 1 mana and just sat on it. I think Tannon might just be laughing at this point.
Tannon might be like, I probably can't beat the Herald of Anafenza if he just activates it every turn.
Right. Meanwhile, also Tannon Grace out of cards in hand, so Pat Cox has a very good idea of what he's up against here. So given the colors that Pat Cox has seen, there's really no options here for Grace, right? I mean, there's no Dune Blasts or anything like that coming off the top of the deck.
We get a rock token. There we go. Good job on the judges. Yep, 2 flyers. That's it.
He doesn't want to throw away any of his creatures on the ground. That could be a Snowhorn Rider or an Enoch Tracker.
And finally the Herald's like, thank you.
Yeah. And another color appears here for Pat Cox, though. You were guessing earlier, BDM. Oh, what could it be? Is it Abzan? Is it Warriors? It's Warriors.
Yeah. 7 creatures to 1 creature here.
I believe we're going to see all of them turn sideways shortly here. If not this turn, then the next. There's just really nothing horrible that can happen to Pat Cox in this scenario. Not with the mana and colors that Tannon Grace has. So
Yep.
in they go.
Everybody but the Herald. He's like, sure. You first strike something to death here.
He's like,
right?
block
That's the-
something, go to 1 or whatever.
Right.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's actually just stone
Yeah,
lethal anyway.
it's
All right.
not really a good way out of this.
Nope, and that's going to do it. Pat Cox, just look at that smile. That
Yeah,
about
he's like-
says
he's
it
like,
all.
all right, well.
You get a little smirk out of Tannon, too, who's just kind of like, geez, what did I ever do to you?
It's like he just said nice deck and semi-meant it.
Yeah. Pat Cox is just the happiest. He's beaming. You got Orrin Beasley in the middle seat, Dave Sharfman on the top there. So let's jump into the middle here, where Orrin Beasley finds himself with, well, it looks like a Bear's Companion, but with no companion.
Yeah.
And a 2-3 Mardu Heart Piercer facing down a Marek Nightblade with a counter on it. More white-black with a tiny bit of red, it looks like, for the other side of the table. This is their version. And here's an Enoch Bondkin.
We've seen a lot of this first strike and death touch interaction going on.
Yeah, here it is again. Wow. Chief of the Blade, too.
So this is where the Warriors deck is on the other team.
No Warriors here, though. Bondkin's a soldier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Attention players from draft number 32, we are looking for Jason Prix and Lucas Carson. Your name is Jason or Lucas, and you signed up for a
And
draft.
Beasley's sleeves look insane. Look at them.
Yeah, Weatherman sleeves.
They're like glowing.
It's the green screen effect
I
of
guess it
those
is.
sleeves.
It's. I want those.
There's a Warrior front moving in from the north.
So let's see if Beasley, what he can do to help stabilize again, because that was a really nice turn for John. He bolstered his board position quite nicely there.
Sounds like Randy has an update from the floor.
Yeah, I've been watching the back table match. Ryuichi Tamada, are we talking about this guy enough? He top 8's Shanghai. He flies to Grand Prix LA 2 weeks ago. Top 8's there as the #1 seed. Flies home, brings 2 buddies with him to Nashville. Now they're playing for top 4 here.
To answer your question, no.
No, we're not. We should be talking about
We
this
gotta
guy
talk about
more.
this guy more.
Same
That's
guy.
insane. Yeah.
He's playing Godinez Vidurguris right now.
Okay.
Go just swept his board with a dead drop, so not
where have I
looking
heard this
great
story
here.
before?
And Sam Black just followed up Jeskai Charm +1/+1 and lifelink. Next turn, Flying Crane technique.
I could predict where that was going.
Yeah, once you see the +1/+1 and lifelink to get the guy to 7, Flying Crane technique was coming now. So not looking great for the Japanese team that flew over so far, but I'll keep you updated.
Okay. Yeah, keep an eye on
Aerostorm
them for
from,
sure.
Second Aerostorm out of Orrin Beasley.
And that's going to take down the Nightblade there.
Yep.
Any attack with both as well. So it looks like Beasley figures that he's the beatdown here. You look like John might be in that last turn, but he's turned it back in his direction.
When he's Heart Piercer, Aerostormed.
It's pretty good. Remove, remove, remove. Timely Horde Mate. And it's going to get back a Chief of the Scale. That's insane. Beasley's going to do a quick check, but it all checks out. And then the Bondkin picks up a counter. Wow, these turns from John have been really nice. And all of a sudden, Orrin Beasley might have to reconsider whether he's the beatdown or not. He's got a Treasure Cruise, a Bring Down, and something. Or Bring Low, excuse me. I keep saying Bring Down, I don't know why. Just Bring Low. And maybe even another Aerostorm? Could that be? It is another Aerostorm.
And a Bring Low.
And a Bring Low. I said Bring Down. You don't let me do that.
I didn't want to bring you low.
I can take it.
Deck lists have arrived here. Take a look at what Orrin Beasley has to work with there. It looks like a lot of 3 Aerostorms.
Yeah, he's got all 3. He's got 2 in the yard and 1 in the hand here.
Send in the team.
Ooh, he's got a hooded Hydra too, floating around that list somewhere. The team's fighting? Wow. properly aggressive play. Both of the warriors there are 3/3s.
There's a Master of Pearls lurking in Cuvier's deck.
Mm-hmm. That's a scary one.
John Cuvier might be, the Florida team on the left side of your screen might be a little less familiar to some people than, you know, Pro Tour champion David Sharfman, multiple-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor Patrick Cox. But if you remember, do you remember Bronson Magnan's win in Modern?
I do. That was in Hoth or whatever.
Yeah. That was John Cuvier was
Oh.
his brewing partner on that deck.
Interesting. Yeah, that was with the Light from the Loam deck.
Yeah. And Stephen Mann, of course, a top 8 just a season ago.
Yep. So Timely Hordemate here is a 4/3 thanks to the 2 chiefs.
Yeah.
And Orrin has decided to double block the Chief of the Edge. That's the toughness chief, but he's got that bring low as well.
Yeah, he's gonna. Now we're gonna find out: is there
What's the trick?
a feat of resistance in the future here? No.
No, I think he's got like a throttle and maybe like a Mardu Rough Rider.
Okay.
There's the throttle. So he completes the 2-for-1 here. And is going to get in for a nice chunk of damage, and I think he's way too far ahead now for Beasley to come back. I mean, Beasley does have a treasure cruise in his hand, so you don't want to count him out because he's got 5 cards in his
Because
graveyard
there's
as
nothing
well.
that card can't do.
Yes. It's been proving itself.
Played
consistently.
in Vintage and Legacy.
Yeah. Currently. Modern as well. It's taken over Modern.
For as long as people will allow them
Yes.
to.
Modern has been, it's totally different now.
You know, I don't have one of those in my CDC Commander deck. I think that's probably a mistake.
Slightly embarrassed for you, but it's something we could remedy.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Aerostorm first.
Number 3. Yeah, take down the Bonkin here. Just like
Could be.
the first strike is just
3
you know,
power.
You can start sort of
3
drawing
toughness.
creature and trade.
Yeah. And then when they grab the cards like that, they're cruising.
Yep.
Okay, all right, fire it off. Treasure Cruise,
He's
all
like
of
6
them.
cards removed, 2 mana paid.
And he's just gonna have to pass the turn back because he's already played his
He's
land
at
for the
6.
turn. So really close here. Like any combat trick, any direct damage of any sort,
So
any
something
pump
that-
spell.
So something that looked like a charm there.
Charm, which charm?
I don't know. I'm not sure which one.
That certainly
I
matters
have to
here.
assume it's a Mardu charm.
Yeah, that would be the assumption. It's the only one he can cast right now. I don't think he has any green for an Obzon charm. It could just be the Rough Rider post-combat.
Yep.
Yeah,
there
it is. So that really is going to make it hard for Orrin Beasley to come back here.
But he has a fistful of cards to work with.
He's going to, so this is the pre-concession graveyard check,
He
I'm
was like,
assuming?
shake your hand. No, I just want to see your graveyard.
Yeah, they're only
there.
on game 1.
So Steve Mann up a game, Pat Cox up a game, and now it looks like John Cuvier is up a game there. Randy, what do you got for us?
Well, Ryuichi kept fighting gamely after that dead drop. He was still fighting. Go had to spell snatch an Obzon Ascendancy to finally ice the game. Yeah. But the Japanese middle player, Taraya, did manage to win a game on the Japanese side with a flying crane technique of his own. So 2 game 1 wins for Madison, 1 for Team Japan.
All right.
And we're in game 2s all over the place here. Let's see, looks like Pat Cox is looking to ice his match against Tannon. Looks like he's on offense. Let's see, High Spire Mantis swinging in. Orrin Beasley sort of gone all long hair on us since last we saw him, or since last I saw him anyway.
It's out of control. He's got the mustache. His name is Orrin. It's just all part of the complete package there.
Some sort of ascendancy in play for
Yeah, which game are we going to go to?
If we can switch to one of these matches.
There we
There you
go. Stephen Mann.
Checking out Pro Tour top 8 competitor Stephen Mann and Pro Tour champion David Sharfman. Obs on Battle Priest and Enoch Bonkin. Sharfman's down a game here. He's got a lot of ways to do +1/+1 counters in his deck. I saw he had hardened scales in his deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, has armament core, which I think is what this is right now. It is an armament
Yeah.
core, so now both of his creatures will be first strike and
He's got
lifelink.
hardened scales.
Yeah. It was pretty gross with an armament core. I mean,
That's
I
true.
think he would have liked another creature though, since he got dead dropped a couple turns later. You know, still got this hardened scales though.
They don't block very well.
No, it does not. It doesn't. It's cheap though.
Attention players, we're looking for Trevor Baker to report to
And he's going to put
That's Trevor Baker.
those two counters, one on his Battle Priest, one on his Bondkin, and then he's
This
going
is
to get in
nasty.
with both.
Yeah, they both
They're
have
both-
first strike and lifelink.
Yeah.
That makes combat fairly difficult for the opponent, even when you're tapped out. It also makes Death Touch look a lot worse on a 1/1.
Man decides to just push his disowned ancestor in the way of the Battle Priest.
Super Sunday Series Seal. It is now 2:56 p.m. Round 6 will end at 3:46 p.m. You have 50 minutes. Please begin.
Sharfman goes to a healthy 32.
Very healthy. Stephen Mann's trying to figure out how the heck he can start to attack this plan.
Yeah. Ruthless Ripper looks up a sheer wall. I don't know if I can climb that.
Ruthless Ripper can bring that wall down. That's the interesting thing about how Sharfman put those counters out, is that he put an extra one on the Bondkin to get in now, but if you put one on the armament core, then it would have first strike and lifelink as well.
Right.
And all three of his creatures would end up with first strike and lifelink.
So Rakshasa's Secret gets, looks like Assault Road Patrol.
And an Archer's Pair.
Yeah,
Okay.
Archer's Pair, but looking oddly out of place here.
Yeah, agreed. That's his finisher, maybe?
Yeah. Pew pew. And we see that the card he capped was Feet of Resistance.
I see.
So he's planning on getting a
All
counter
right, so it looks
onto.
like, yeah, that armament core's getting
That
that
armament
counter
core, yeah.
anyway. What an incredible combat trick Feet of Resistance is
Especially
in
in
this
this
scenario.
deck.
This is absurd. He's probably going to need to use it to protect his Bondkin, because I think that's the most important one here, as it means that combat for his opponent just becomes completely
Yep.
miserable.
And Steve Mann has to start out lasting his disowned ancestor. He's tapped out.
Start your next round. Once again, Alex from draft 21 to table I3. Table I3, thank you.
The question is whether he wants to trade his Feet of Resistance for a Ruthless Ripper.
The answer is no.
I mean, like if I was going to use it, I'd almost be tempted to do it pre-combat, say pro black, and then just get in with everybody.
If he wants to just close out this game ASAP, he can do that, but this is a much less risky
Yeah,
one.
of course.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're saying if you were going to fire
Yeah.
that off, that's how you
Oh,
would do it.
yeah,
right?
there's a Rakshasa's Death Dealer.
Sure, why not? Because why not? Yeah, Stephen Mann has his hands full here. Now, lucky for him, he's up a game. So,
And by
even
the
if-
way, Sharpman's at 40.
Yeah.
If you start to double your life total, does that count like for 2 wins?
No.
No, are you sure?
I've already consulted a judge.
consulted
and
the floor rules?
Yes. Have it right here on my computer, and no.
It's got 2 Death Dealer activations if he wants them.
Indeed, though that does start to infringe on the feat of resistance.
Yes, it
mana, so
would
It's
without
kind of
an
interesting there, right?
A Bitter Revelation.
It's kind of banking on finding a land. This is a little risky from Sharfman to open it up because, you know, like Stephen Mann could be like, in response, throttle your Bondkin, and then all of a sudden, Sharfman's attacks look a lot worse. Now, he's still in a decent spot, don't get me wrong, but, you know, now all of a sudden the Ruthless Ripper trades for the Battle Priest or the Armament Core, and things get a lot more complicated. So he's got to be careful if he wants to keep Feat of Resistance mana available. His opponent's on black. He could be slightly worried about a Mardu Skull Hunter or another Rakshasa's Secret or something, but
But
if you've got the land, you got to
yeah,
play.
you really worry about someone just like taking the leg out of the tripod you're assembling.
Yeah,
there.
it's true. He's got to protect it. He's not going to this turn, though.
Outlast. It's because he didn't find an untapped
I
land.
think he has the planes, too. Anyway, either way, shields, they are down. Stephen Mann does nothing with his mana.
Yeah, this is
Nothing.
your right.
No morphs flipped up.
That was
nothing.
your throttle. That was your throttle turn right there.
That was the window with
Get
which
rid of
to
that
throw
Battle
that throttle.
Priest.
I think the Bondkin, right?
Sure.
Yeah, because now the Ripper tangles with the Battle Priest if you get rid of
Right.
the
That's fair.
Bondkin.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But either way, he didn't have it. And I think he would have fired it off if he did. So
Looks like Debilitating Injury will be able to take down the Death Dealer.
that is just so the least of his problems.
Yeah.
Sharfman, I don't think cares at all.
And he plays his 7th mana for the turn. Plays a flyer. And then Watcher the Roost.
Yes.
And he's biding his time.
He's basically trying to get it bigger than the Disown Ancestor, which has 7 toughness right now. So that Ancestor is doing serious work, holding off what is ultimately a really formidable army here for David Sharfman. Randy,
Wow, Taraya's Jeskai deck may be even better than Sam Black's.
come on.
Seeker the Way, turn 2. Mantis Rider, turn 3.
Oh, geez.
Turn 4, Crippling Chill. Turn 5, Dragon Style Twins.
What?
Oh my god.
Turn 6, Master the Way. And he has won that match. He has mastered the way.
Wow.
1 match win now for the Japanese. And Sam Black lost game 2. He had kind of a slow draw, and Kazuyaki punished him for it. So
So they're going to 3 there?
they're going to 3. Go got off another dead drop. He's looking pretty solid. But I think it may all come down to that game 3 with Sam Black.
Okay. Thank you, Randy. Meanwhile, we have a lot of saber rattling here.
Yeah.
Watcher of the Roost, though, is clear to attack. And this is huge. I mean, look, Stephen Mann's now at 3. Like, he doesn't need much.
He's really just taking the Outlast end of things
Very
literally.
seriously, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming that Stephen's down to 3 here, even though our graphic says 5. still.
Pat Cox has won his match in the set down on the bottom.
Oh, I see.
Cuvelier and Beasley still in game 2. Still in game 2 here. Looking, I can't imagine like it won't go to I mean, he goes to 2. He's taking 2 in the air right now.
Well, he found green. What is this, a Sagu Archers? I mean, he wouldn't do this
Oh, of course.
unless he had something. But if he taps down too much of his mana, Sharfman can just get through anyway. What is it? Why would he crack that main phase here?
That's got to be a Sagu Archer. Oh, unless it's or an Obzon Guide.
Right, good point. It could definitely be that.
Sure.
He would definitely trade those 2 creatures off
But,
if it's a guide to gain 4 life here. It gives him a
but
bunch
he's
of
going to
extra turns.
untap his he's going to unmorph his Obzon Guide, and then he is not going to gain any life if
Yep.
Sharfman deploys the Feat of Resistance.
You're right.
It is an Obzon Guide.
Yep. BDM with the read.
Here comes Feat of Resistance. First strike your guy.
Yep.
Lifelink your guy. Lifelink your guy again if I have to. And you only get 1 lifelink, but yeah.
And you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so David Sharfman picks up the second game of that 3-game match to force it, but he has a big advantage here. His teammate, Pat Cox, already has won his match and is obviously now sitting behind him, as you can see.
Yeah.
And Orrin Beasley, though, is down a game to John Cuvelier, so we'll see if John can finish off this match and then force that game 3 up there to matter. And it doesn't look good for Beasley here, does it?
No, it looks like
Block,
Beasley's
block,
being
block, block.
outflanked. His creatures are attacking around a Mardu Warshaker. I've heard of creatures in front, creatures in the back, but I've never heard of creatures on the side
It's
before.
all about placement.
Give up, you're
Sidestep.
surrounded.
Okay, and he actually just lost right there, right? So Cuvelier picks up a win for his team, and sure enough,
So we're going to go back to Sharfman Mann, and that's going to be the deciding game here.
that's it. That's the
It'll
one.
all come down to this. One of these 2 teams will go into the top 4.
Wow.
The
Now,
other will console themselves with some money and some pro points.
now the 10-2-1 team, they pretty locked, or are they going to be doing the tiebreakery?
I mean, they're going to be doing a little bit of a
sweating it out?
tiebreakery sweat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But clearly they have to win to put themselves even
Yeah.
in that position. So what about at 10-1 and 2?
They're a
You
point. They're a point above everyone with 2 losses,
Okay,
which is everybody else that we're worried about.
that's
here.
a big group.
Yeah. So it all comes down to David Sharfman versus Stephen Mann. And it came down to Sharfman last time. Sharfman was up a game against Tom Martell last round. And it was it was the 3rd match result. And if he could win another game, then they would have been able to draw this round into top 8. And then, maybe Tom Martell's team would have been a little nervous. Maybe could draw, maybe couldn't draw in the last round, depending on how things shook out. But Tom was able to take game 2, and then they had like 50 seconds left.
Wow.
And like, no, we're not going to get this done. And that draw was fine for Tom's team. They're able to put themselves to 10-1 and 2 with their draw this round,
Okay.
or 11-1 and 2, I should say.
So Tannon Grace loses to Pat Cox, but John Cuvelier defeats Orrin Beasley, both 2-0s in either direction, and that leaves us with but 1 match remaining, and they're tied at a game apiece, so that leaves us with but a game remaining.
That's so much better than 1 butt match.
Yeah, you're not wrong, BDM. Don't laugh at that, Rashad. Don't you dare laugh
You will
at that.
only encourage me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is the match any good? No. But it's been a long weekend.
It's not over yet.
I know.
Are you ready for drafts?
I am ready for. I'm really excited to see
Team draft.
Team draft.
It's going to be sweet.
It's actually the
And-
first Team GPF coverage. I actually haven't watched, a team draft
It's
from this seat.
fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I had Tom Martell in the booth with me in Portland, and he kind of broke down everything. It was absolutely fantastic. Team draft is nothing like any other Magic format.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like we're about underway here. This is a big match for both of these teams, and they are both going to have their teammates sitting over their shoulder, offering them advice when needed, maybe even when it's not needed, depending on how good their chemistry is.
Yeah, you see the heart, it's that dragon scale boon, not hardened scales. So really, really taking the.
I thought that was heart of the scale, or hardened scale.
I think it was dragon.
It was a boon. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, no green to insight here anyway.
Yeah.
And there's a kin tree invocation off the top for Mann, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
No green and no creatures though, so let's see what he's got.
He's gonna play a morph here.
Ye old Obzon guide. No, that's a kin tree warden.
It's just the way, the way it works. You always play your first morph. You're like, I expect to trade it. I'm gonna play my less exciting morph.
Indeed. Ooh, strong turn 3 here play from Sharfman though. Obzon Falconer. And he's already put himself nicely ahead in this game just by playing that Falconer. It is so good.
Yeah, trumps the morphs by itself.
Yes.
Without doing anything else. Without even activating. If you have any other creatures with +1/+1 counters, it slivers them to the air.
Yeah, it feels kind of like an enchantment the turn you play it.
And again, there's really, other than the Ruthless Ripper, really you'd feel pretty comfortable blocking a morph here.
Yeah, I think feeder resistance is the thing that I'd be kind of bummed out.
Yeah.
3/3 morph's a big deal. It gets to keep the counter when it flips up and it's big on its own, and then losing my Falconer would be a bummer. I think I'd probably not block. I love blocking. Okay, face down morph. Does he have a land to follow up?
It looks like
he
a
does,
Watcher of the Roost.
Okay, like that card a lot. Wow, if he has Watcher of the Roost and can get a counter on that Obzon Falconer, like, it's gonna, that can close out a game very quickly.
As long as his opponent doesn't play 5th land or 3rd color of land, you start crossing off morphs and.
Oh yeah, the list gets way shorter of morphs that matter. Wow, both of them are battling though. David's got an interesting choice. He can just take it, which is perfectly reasonable, being at 22. He could block and block, forcing Stephen Mann to come up with multiple tricks to get out of it, but I think here you just take it. Like
you said, feeder resistance
is yuck, yeah.
Terrible for you here. Looks like he's lining up the blocks.
Huh. Man, with Watcher of the Roost as a flyer, plus Falconer as a flyer, plus the fact I'm already at 22. This is fairly risk-free here.
It's just morph on morph here.
Yeah.
He's like, Falconer's staying back.
This is risk-free, actually, entirely.
The first morph is kin tree warden.
The only okay, well, he's actually going to flip it up. Oh, no, they're just dying.
No, he flipped his up. He showed him the Battle Priest.
Oh, he did, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still dying anyway.
Yeah, they're going to trade. Sharfman gains 2.
Yeah. Loses 2, gains 2, so that evened out.
And morphs. More morphs. And green mana for Sharfman. We're going to see the same sequence of plays here. He plays Battle Priest, ups the Falconer. Nope. He's actually.
He's up in the Falconer.
Yeah.
He's just doing it the good old-fashioned way.
I was wondering if he was going to play the Battle Priest this turn and then play the Armament Core next turn.
That's what I was thinking too. But no, he wants to shore up the ground game completely and start getting it in the air.
Ground game and the air game. That's a flying Armament Core.
Absolutely.
It's a shield helicarrier.
And it's going to have lifelink next turn.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Now, Steven knows about that part. David Sharfman revealed that Battle Priest when he gained the 2 life from his Watcher of the Roost. See, the action slows down considerably with the teams.
Oh yeah.
The judges do still kind of hover though and push things along, because even if you're getting help from a teammate, that doesn't mean that you can take too long, you know. So
Yeah.
they have to keep these things moving.
They're also playing for Pro Tour invites.
Well, here they are, yeah. I mean, this is just.
In,
I was speaking
in addition,
generally.
yeah, but I'm saying, but in
Yeah.
addition to the money, in addition to the opportunity to become a Grand Prix champion, it's also like a lot of you come to a Grand Prix and you're like, I want to get to this level
Yeah.
because I would like to qualify for the Pro Tour.
Yeah, there's a lot of these teams too that try to get their friend qualified. You know, kind of ride with us. Paul Cheon comes to mind. They were not able to meet that goal, unfortunately.
You're Sharpman. You know you're gonna play that Battle Priest.
Yeah, take it all. Who cares?
You're like, I actually.
He is going to gain 500 life. I did the math, and it came out to 500.
Okay, so here comes a Kintree Warden.
And now the coast is truly clear here for Sharfman. As only 1 black mana, there's nothing in the set. So not enough cards in the yard for Murderer's Cut, and there's the Battle Priest, and there's a huge life swing. All right, so the estimate was 500. It didn't quite come in.
Yeah.
But still, 8. It's a 16-point life swing. Huge for Sharfman. 3 morphs, 3 little morphs for Stephen Mann. And not a 5th land in sight.
The other 2 matches were both quick and dirty,
Yeah.
2-0,
Yep.
2-0. So it's coming down to game 3.
All right, so debilitating injury on the Obzon Battle Priest is going to stop that nonsense.
So no feat of resistance in hand here.
Correct. Certainly would have fired it off there.
And 3 morphs come swinging in.
Yeah, that's just not going to do it though, right? I mean, he's obviously got to get in there. He's going to play Disown Ancestor post-combat, but like, that's just not going to do it.
Yeah, he's at 9. Oh, he shows him the Dragon Scale boon. There's the game.
And that's it. David Sharfman wins his game, his match, and then for their team,